morning. I am Srilekha, Department of Chemistry. Today I am going to talk about on the topics of an electrode potential. How the electrodes can be connected through this potential and can be developed by using in the form of an reactions. So for this we are going to identify the reaction in the form of a zinc with zinc sulfate solution and copper with copper sulfate solution. So these are the reactions how the electrons can be transferred in the form of an oxidation reaction, and the copper awards the reaction based on this reduction reactions. So oxidation and the reduction reaction both can be worked out in the form of an reaction cell in the form of a reaction. So I am taking with the zinc with the zinc sulfate solution and copper with this copper sulfate solution. Zinc rod when dipped in this zinc sulfate solution, the electrons which is goes into the solution because the zinc is capable of losing the electrons. So losing the electrons which will have the zinc metal when turns into the solution, it forms a Zn2 plus ion metal ions. The changes into a metal ion. So the Zn as a metal in the form of a solution, it transfers to the reaction and it has a metal ions with the two loss of electrons. So the two loss of electrons which will combine to form the reactions, and the electrodes can be loss of the electron, and the electrode which attains a negative charges. Due to this negative charges in this, the valence electron of negative charges attracts the positive ions in the solution, and which remains close to the solution, and it comes to the electrode near to this negative electrode because of the valence electron. So the valence electron can be changes by using in the form of a loss of electron, and this negative charges attracts the positive charges from the solution, and it develops a potential and it produces the current in the form of an electrode potential with this electrical double layer formations. So here the positive and the negative layer which is combined in the form of a layer. These type of layers can be called as a Helmholtz electrical double layer. So Helmholtz electrical double layer is nothing but whenever the electrodes can be considered with this positive and the negative ions, it is called as a Helmholtz electrical double layer. So this is the reaction how the zinc will react with this one solution and it produces the developed potentials. Likewise, the metal gum, we are considered as a zinc as a metal gum, and which is closer to the solution as a Mn plus ions, which is considered as a Zn2 plus ion. So the Zn2 plus ion with the loss of electron, which is forms as an oxidation reaction. So this is the reaction how it is considered in the Zn2 plus ion. And with this copper solution, copper is also the same with this, the formation of the reducing reactions. So the reducing in the form of copper has a deposits over the metal which is considered as a Cu2 plus ion. So whenever the copper metal losses of electron in the formation of Cu plus, and it again deposits over the metal as a Cu2 plus ions, which is considered as a metal alcohols reactions. So the metal alcohols reaction which is formed with this CuSO4 solution, because the sulfate reaction does not accept the reaction in the copper. So we can change this by the reaction, and we can deposit over the metal to this Cu2 plus ion, and it carries the charges with the deposition of the metal. So for this we can consider the example with this metal ions with the gain of electrons, which will moves the reaction as a metal. So how the Cu2 plus ion, which is considered as a Cu plus ion, same with this reaction, the N metal ions which is considered as a metal by the formation of a reduction reactions. So the both here also which will attains the deposit over the metal, and it's a electrode which attains the positive charges. Due to the positive charges of the valence electron, the positive charges gets attracted due to the solution of negative ions. So the negative ions which is formed in the solution, and it attains a double layer formation reaction. So already we have discussed about this how the double layer electrical formations can be carried out, and this double layer electrical formation is also called as a Helmholtz electrical double layer reaction, which in the formation to produces the potential developed from the electrodes. How the electrodes with the zinc sulfate and copper with this copper sulfate, electrodes can be produced in the form of reactions. So the form of reactions with the oxidation and the reduction reactions can be carried out whether in the same reduced process with the, it is also called as a reversible reaction also, whether the metal with metal sulfate solution and the metal ions with the metal solutions. Both the reactions can be carried out and it can be considered as a potential developed with the reversible reactions. Thank you.